Welcome to day 19. And guys, it's gonna be a good day. 13-year-old Laphroaig. Now this is from AD Rattray. Now someone in the comments whose last name is actually R-A-T-T-R-A-Y was like, it's pronounced Rattray. Alright, fine. I'll adjust. So, AD Rattray, if that's correct. This is a Williamson, 13-year-old, AD Rattray, single cask, 57.3%, 13-year-old Laphroaig. This I'm excited about. I like Laphroaig a lot. I am biased because I've always liked Laphroaig, but when I got to meet John Campbell and Simon Brooking about a year back, I spent a little bit of time with them. They would not recognize me from Adam. They don't know who I am. But I thought, man, these are my people. These are the kind of people you get into whiskey for. They're open-handed and open-armed and fun and spiky sense of humor, but kind and generous. Just the both of them. And that's who I hung out with at just one of the tastings. It was just a tasting thing that we did. And that sort of made me overly affectionate for Laphroaig, just getting the chance to hang out with them. So, I'm kind of excited about this. 13-year-old Laphroaig, man, I can smell it. I can smell it while I was pouring it. I don't even have to pick up the glass. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is just classic Laphroaig. This is slight medicinal, slight soapy, but soapy is the wrong word. A little bit of pear behind the heavy smoke. This is not as woody as the triple wood and the 4 oak that we were doing in the normal channel this week, but man, or I guess now, last week. This is just classic Laphroaig. Yeah, it just stands out as a classic Laphroaig. Let's see what the taste has to offer. And by the way, this is being bottled at 57.3%, which I think I said. Oh yeah, okay. This does not taste like 57.3%. The aftertaste is slight wood and slight, what's funny is when I drink Laphroaig, I picture a library. I just, leather chairs, dusty, the paper of opening old books where you get the binder glue, but you also get the leather binding and the paper dust smell and the wood shelves that have been cleaned and polished. And I think that's why one of the reasons I love Laphroaig is my happy place since I was very little has been books and libraries and bookshelves. And so to find a whiskey that smells like a library, I mean, come on, it's like catnip. What are you gonna do with that? If you like Laphroaig, you're going to love this. Nothing in this is going to surprise you, but you're going to love it. This is more subtle than the Laphroaig 10, that's the classic release, but it's closer to that than any of their special or more aged releases. And the aftertaste is just the rich smoke with a little bit of fruit, which is weird. Now you may notice that as we do these videos, I'm leaving behind more than half of these bottles. And keep in mind, when we did the Master Malt Calendar, you got these tiny little, you had to dump the whole thing into the glass just to get a taste. And 3 sips in, it was gone. And you're like, well, I hope I remembered that correctly. These bottles are 50 milliliters. That's an airplane bottle. And that's a reasonable full pour of whiskey. It's also a sharing pour if you pour small quantities like I do. So I'm leaving all these behind. These are not going back into the calendar to just sit in the shelf. What's actually happening, don't tell Rex. What's actually happening is on Christmas Day, I open the last one, and it'll be before that because I'm shooting videos. I'm gonna take the whole calendar home, and then I am going to have a Boxing Day whiskey extravaganza with whoever's around, where we just go back into the calendar and we just pull whatever's left of bottles and just hang out. Because Boxing Day, if you don't know, Boxing Day in England was traditionally Christmas for the servants, ironically. So it was when you bought the servants, because, you know, on Christmas Day, the servants were still working and serving Christmas meals to the family and all that kind of stuff. So the day after Christmas, Boxing Day, is when the staff got to relax and hang out. And gifts were given and things like that. Now traditionally, it's just another day of giving to charities, giving to poor, giving to those who have less than you, and of relaxing as a family, but with no obligations. And so that day for me this year will be pillaging the remainder of the Whiskey Advent calendar, because now that's a Boxing Day. There's nothing I could say about this that I haven't said about Laphroaig every time I drink it. I will say that for a 57% alcohol, this is one of the most approachable Laphroaig's you will have had. It gets into lore territory. It's just really good. It's really good. I'm grateful for this. I'm going to add just a wee dash of water before the toast. I'm not letting it set very long, but whoa! Yeah, that made it more punchy, more aggressive, more classic. Wow, that's working you whiskey, which I love. So, till tomorrow, may your crazy stay this side illegal, and may you return before we have time to miss you. Cheers.